Hello, today we're going to talk about exercising and how exercising can actually affect every aspect of your life and quite positively. And I'll be talking from my own experience of above 15 years exercising and maintaining some routines. I'm a former kickboxing champion and I have quite a lot of experience with that. Currently, I'm still exercising 6 days per week, even though I don't have any competitions. I'm not involved into fight sports anymore. But still, I practice exercising because I have identified all of the benefits of exercising and how it can affect your day to day life, including increasing your cognitive performance, focus. It can improve your productivity tremendously. And I'm maintaining a full time job alongside a business. And I quite need the energy boost from exercising. So, how it all started was that I was a student in university and I was drinking and smoking and partying all the time heavily. And I didn't have any discipline. I was very lazy and I was procrastinating a lot. And then I found a passion in fight sports. I was enjoying watching K1 back in the days. And K1 was the biggest promotion in kickboxing, and that's before MMA was a thing, before UFC was that popular. Later on, UFC just like surpassed K1 by revenue, by watch time, by popularity, and just K1 shut down. But beforehand, it was in the format of a tournament of the eight best fighters in the whole world, and they were fighting in that tournament. And you have to win three fights in a row for a single night in order to be crowned as a K1 champion. And I was very impressed by those guys. I liked the sport, and I have decided to try it because the things with the university didn't go to plan, and I was about to drop out. So I needed that direction and sense of purpose and a thing to do with my life. So I got involved into it. In the process, I have become a champion. And from there on, I managed to build a discipline that I was able to transition to each and every aspect of my own life. This allowed me to switch up my profession during the COVID pandemic. And I didn't have any profession. I was just working as a driver while I was competing in fight sports. But in 2020, in the pandemic, they shut it down the whole country, each and every competition, and I was left without any perspective and without anything, and with a well-paid job, which I was in a risk of losing, and I have to figure out something in order to survive and to maintain my life and the life of my girlfriend. So I decided to become a software engineer, and the discipline from fight sports helped me to achieve this goal of mine. And in 2022, I have landed my first job as a software engineer. Then I started a business, and my life is now, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. And that's all thanks to just exercising. Exercising can improve your energy levels tremendously. There is a known effect called the after exercise boost, in which if you time your exercise right, by the way, if you ever felt like a dip in energy after lunch, that's usually when you eat, when your stomach is full and you're like chill, relax in a lethargic state. Exercising can help quite a lot with that state, with that after exercise boost, and that's how I'm using it in order to avoid this dip in the afternoon. And I'm able to sustain some effort and some focus, concentration if I have some stuff to do in the later part of the day. And that's very useful to me. Also, let's talk about obesity because exercising is the number one tool that you can fight obesity with. You have two options. You can starve yourself to death, or you can exercise. And I mean, it's a no brainer, especially if you love food like I do. I cannot stay away from food. So, exercising was the option for me to fight obesity. And back in 2020, during that pandemic, I had gained quite a lot of weight, and that was about 40 pounds of fat. It got to a point in which I had a hard time putting my pants on, and nothing fit. I didn't have any clothes to wear. I was sweating all the time. It was hot during the summer. It was so embarrassing, and uh, that's usually what happens when you're a competitive level athlete, when you're used to exercising like 2 to 3 times per day, and you have this big caloric like window because you're exercising and burning that much calories. But now that you're sedentary and you're not exercising anymore, you're just prone to gaining so much weight. And that's what happened to me. And obesity messes up your hormones. It messes up your testosterone level, which in turns messes up your sex drive. It just you've you're quite prone to getting into a depressed states and feeling a low self-esteem, low energy, like even having a hard time to move. You're getting out of breath, you're getting tired by just doing normal day-to-day stuff. And it's not a great place to be in. It's definitely not. And the best way to neglect that is just exercising, slight caloric deficit, and I was able to cut those 40 pounds of fat, and my life transformed from there on. I didn't take any blood, blood tests or anything like it, but I just felt it. I just felt myself on a whole different level, just from a hormones perspective. After I have cut all of the weight down, and I was not obese anymore. So definitely helps with that. Exercising also helps with your ability to deal with stress and to be more resilient. Because if I was involved into, like I mentioned, and I'm still am, I'm maintaining a full-time job, I maintain a business on the side, and that can get quite bumpy and can get quite stressful. And when you exercise, you just rid yourself from all of the stress and pressure that you can feel in your day-to-day life. And it's like a magic pill. It's like cure to all of that. It's also shown to have a great impact on your cognitive function. People are somehow able to memorize when they're studying so much better if they exercised before the study session. And Andrew Huberman was speaking on that topic in one of his recent podcasts. He did just a solo show on the benefits of exercising. If you're interested how exercise can impact your brain and cognitive function, just go out there and find this podcast. But it's quite interesting how scientists, how people that are studying for those scientific fields, engineering professions, also, they are now understanding the benefits from exercising, and they are making some space in their routine just for the purpose of exercising, because it is a great tool in order to make your brain perform so much better. And if you think about it, that's how an optimal human being is supposed to be. You're supposed to be on the move all the time because you were born to be a hunter and to be a warrior and to survive and to provide for your tribe and to fight other tribes. And we had that dynamic life And now we're just stuck in a desk, in front of a laptop, in front of screens. And it's very unnatural for us to not get any access to sunlight and any movement at all. And this reflects on our health, not just in the form of obesity, but in the form of all kinds of diseases. And you can avoid so much of those, and you can avoid all the stress and all the pressure just by exercising for 30 minutes per day. And it's very funny because I have a watch with which I'm tracking and monitoring my exercises, and it recognizes walking as an exercise, even. So, something simple like walking, and I will recommend you to do so without headphones, without listening to podcasts and music, and anything like that. Just being able to walk for 15, 20, 30 minutes per day around nature, ideally, around greenery, trees, and all of that, with your own thoughts and your own peace of mind, just try it. I cannot even explain the benefit of it, and that's considered as an exercise as well. So you can get all of the benefits that we spoke about just by effortless walking. If you have a private park, if you have, I don't know, a garden, or you're, I mean, everyone can walk. Each and every one of us have access to that. So definitely, even something simple like this can tremendously improve your well-being. And we're not even talking about the the part of which how people view you, because it can reflect on your career, on your business, on the way people view you and think of you. And that's very beneficial when you're trying to land a job in a new field like I did. I mean, I sold myself by mentioning on the interviews that I'm a kickboxing champion. And this builds an image, an avatar on the other person that you're disciplined. And people are looking, companies are looking to hire people that are going to do the job. And in order to do the job, you have to be disciplined. That's the number one quality of a quality worker, just discipline, just being able to focus and concentrate on a single thing for extended period of time. And I mean, that was the reason why I was able to land the job so quickly. And it's usually a process that takes much more time to people that I knew. So it definitely changes the perspective of other people. And when we talked about discipline, this, I believe, exercising is the best tool to build discipline because, like I mentioned, before exercising, I was so undisciplined, I was so lazy. And just by integrating some form of exercise, like I mentioned, this can be in the form of competing in sports. This can be in the form of just going and doing fitness or calisthenics or walking or jogging or sprinting or whatever, swimming. There are so many sports that you can experiment with, and you can build your discipline that way. And when you commit to that sport for at least a year, your whole mindset, your whole perspective, your whole view of the world changes. And I think my perspective was shaped by the sport I was participating in, just my perspective for life. I was not chasing quick results, quick schemes anymore. I realized that I have to put an effort for extended periods of time in order to get where I want to get to. I have realized I have to put the work in, the hours in, and to show up day after day, no matter of the result from the previous day. And even better, taking the result from the day before and improving it the next day. And just by small incremental improvements, I was able to build a business, to land a better job, and to secure myself to live a better way, a better life. So, if you want to build a discipline, a willpower, exercising is a great tool to do just that. Not to mention the benefits of looking better, being in a better shape, being healthier, and living to your potential. Because, like I mentioned, we are born to be hunters, we are born to be on the move. And just for the past 20 years, we were introduced into those technologies, to the smartphone with which I'm recording this video, and the screens and all of those, and social media and scrolling aimlessly. And that's the challenge of the modern world. The challenge of the past was to just survive, to just provide food. And it was not just, it was very difficult to do so and required a lot of effort and discipline. But now you have to channel this effort and discipline in another direction on a different enemy. Because the enemy now is the social media. The enemy now is the technology. Because of that technology, we're leading this sedentary life in which we're just rooted into a place and we're not moving as much as we used to. We're gaining all that extra weight, all that extra fat. We're getting unhealthier by the day. Exercising reflects on your bone density. If you compare the skeletons of the people before you and your own skeleton, you most likely are going to see that you have thinner bones than the people before you. And bone density is one of the biggest indicators of a lifespan. VO2 max is one of the biggest indicators of your overall time span as well. So if you care about not just living in like internally, eternally, what was the word? What was the word for that? Just living past 100, let's say. It doesn't have to be your goal, but if you want to be healthy in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and by healthy I mean living without someone supporting you to go to the toilet or to just walk, if you want to be able to do normal stuff and to play with your grandchildren and to enjoy your life as much as possible on the planet Earth, exercising. Because if you don't do so, it reflects on your later years on that earth. So, tremendous benefits, guys. Just live like you're supposed to live. Your whole view, your whole world is going to change. And like I mentioned, I was very positively impacted by exercising. And I'm still doing that. I'm still exercising 6 times per week, and I plan on doing so until I can, until my final days. And those exercises now are in the form of long runs like 6Ks twice per week, and once per month I have a challenge of running 10K or 9K. It really depends. And then I have a single day of the week in which I will do sprinting or I will do a hill running or something more intense like that for quick bursts. And then I have 3 days per week in which I do calisthenics in the form of gymnastic ring exercises. Later on, and I'm also walking at least once per day in the mornings for 15 to 20, 30 minutes. And that might change with my age progressing. It might just be in the form of me walking, but that would be enough. That would be enough for me to enjoy my life until the end of my days and to not need the support of someone to escort me to a toilet or anything like it. So think about it. And if you're not yet into exercising, what are you doing?